afternoon. Welcome to another edition of the Freeman Conversations. I am Vanessa Balbuena, the Freeman's entertainment editor. And joining us today is the 25-year-old daughter of iconic film director Carlo J. Caparas and the late film producer Donna Villa, or Marian Patalingmog in real life, of Lapu-Lapu City, Cebu's Patalingmognan. She is a political science graduate who is now slowly making a name for herself in the filmmaking industry, with 3 co-directing credits to her name for the films Angela Mercado, Miracles of Love, and Kamandag ng Droga. For the first time this year, she will be helming her debut film as main director, and this time around, it's her dad who will be her assistant. This will be for the upcoming film based on one of Cebu's most sensational cases, the 1997 rape murder case of Mary Joy and Jacqueline Chong. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Peach Caparas. Nice to see you. Hi. Welcome to our...
First time I told you I was a political science graduate. I was like, I already told her.
And thank you for gracing our invite and for joining us this afternoon. Okay, Peach, let's dive right in. Why only now? Yung naisipan na gawa ng pelikula yung
Chong Sisters. Well, actually, matagal na po yan eh. It's just there were so many other projects that couldn't wait at the time. And when they first approached us with it, the thing was the case hasn't been finalized at the time. So my mom wanted to do the film kung kailan steady na lahat.
Who approached you?
Well, there were people who came to us, some relatives who wanted my mother and father to do the film. Kasi syempre dati genre nila daddy was massacre films.
Yes.
But at that time my mom felt like it wasn't the right time yet. And then projects started to snowball. So medyo na put siya sa back burner. But when we came to Cebu for a long time, nung siguro 2 years ago or a year ago, 2016, my mom felt like it was the right time to do the film na. Pero we were still closing Kamandag ng Droga. Tapos, unfortunately, she had passed away before we could come back to Cebu to actually do the project. That's why my dad waited for a year after my mom had passed, and he felt like this was the first project he wanted to do.
Okay, as far as you know, how did your dad or your family convince the Chongs, Mrs. Thelma Chong especially, because for all these years, parang they tried hard to forget, and then this will reopen old wounds. So how did you pitch it to them na napapayag niya sila?
Well, I'd have to give all credits to dad niya naman. Kasi siya yung nag-approach ulit na if they could talk about it and get it going. And I think the main point there was to let Mrs. Chong know na I know this was a tragedy that happened to you a very long time ago and everybody wants to move on from it. But why not take this opportunity to teach others and warn others, tell others and also inspire others, such as the other mothers who were left by their daughters, na kidnapped, because this happens every day, lalo na in the world that we're in. It's not an isolated case. There are many mothers, daughters, children that these things happen to. So why not let's take your story and show others that it can happen, but also let's not be a victim to tragedy. Let's use it to fight, let's have a voice.
Was it a long negotiation? Pumayag ba siya agad?
Well, it wasn't a very long negotiation, and she wasn't super on board right away. Syempre may ligaw na onte, we had to talk her into it. It's a very intimate feeling to have to talk about and then make a movie about and then show it nationwide. It's very intimate, but Mrs. Chong does have great strength as she's shown before. So I think she found it within her to actually show people what their family went through at the time.
You've held 3 auditions so far in Cebu,
yes,
is that correct?
3.
Okay, so far
2 for Cebu locals and 1 region-wide.
Okay. So far, kumusta? Kumusta ang mga talents sa Cebu?
I'm shocked. They're actually really very good. My dad always said they were an untapped pool of talent. And I was like, okay, so yeah, let's go. Let's see what they can do. And I'm very pleasantly surprised.
Can we now reveal who will play the important characters, such as Mr. and Mrs. Thelma Chong or the Chong sisters?
they're already pretty much locked down. Pero I'm still not.
Hindi pa
I'm
pwede
not allowed.
sabihin.
Yeah, not at liberty to say.
Pero ilang percent ang taga Cebu?
Of
The cast, yeah.
Well, actually, about, mga 85 to 90%.
Okay.
Yeah, may Cebuano blood, even the main stars, no? But I think there's just one or two who don't have any Cebuano blood in them.
Okay. We're excited to
I
know
do.
who the cast members are.
Well, I can't be the one to release it first. I think Viva will be the one to release
You are planning to start shooting this month.
Yes.
Okay. And
definitely.
anong mga places dito sa Cebu ang mga na-scout niyo for
Uh, all over Lapu-Lapu, all over Cebu. There are many different locations such as the campus.
Will you be going to Caparas?
Yes, we will. But that's later on in May.
Okay. Paano nyo na pag-desisyonan ng dad nyo na this time, ikaw magiging main director and then assistant mo lang siya for this film?
Actually, that's all him. Because he wanted to really...
Because obviously he wants all the spotlight for you now because we were told he's not here today because he's arranging and something about the script. He wants you to take all the spotlight for now.
Well, I wouldn't call it the spotlight, but more of like all the pressure that comes with the work. Like sometimes people think that being the director, medyo mas madali lang siya, say you just get to see the finished product, but no,
you're the captain of the ship.
Yeah, that's why. So I'm a firm believer that the captain must sink with the ship. So whatever happens is always on the director.
Okay, and you're 25 years old.
Yes.
Just 25 years old. And how do you handle veteran actors who are older than you? How do you let them toe the line?
Well, you'd be surprised. Actually, mga veterano pa yung mas, they listen. Once you're the director, there's no, they will not debate with whatever you want to happen. But that is why they're vets, they're veterans in the industry. It's actually the kids who are, bata lang din to eh, why should I listen to you? You know, it's actually, people who are older are in fact wiser and they do as they're told being the actor.
What is your directing style? Magkaiba ba kayo ng dad mo?
Well,
I heard is he a terror on set?
Yes, he's the worst on set. He's a slave driver on set. But again, that's telling of how he does things. Kasi syempre, as a director, you don't only have to make sure that the movie comes out great, but you also have to make sure that no time or money is wasted.
How about you? Anong style mo?
Well, we'll see.
Mabait na Caparas.
Am I nicer? I don't know. I'm pretty, I'm just the way my dad taught me to be. Pero syempre, nagka-clash kami because I do want certain things done differently as he does, which he's super okay with. Actually, kaya ako naging director ng Chiong Sisters is because he knew how fascinated I was about the case. And like growing up, my mom would always be, don't stay out late, ha? Alam niyo ba yung Chiong? It was always
Why
like
the
that.
fascination with the case?
Well, because it was my parents' forte long ago massacre films. Unbeknownst to them, it was passed on. Parang I saw them watching it, so I was like, hey, that's cool.
Can you tell our viewers an anecdote about your elder brother CJ when you watch a movie?
Yeah, okay.
Go ahead.
There was this time that my dad would always take my older brother to editing, so he'd see all the footage of the film, everything. So one time, my parents took him to a movie that was for kids. And CJ, like my dad was seeing him, and CJ wasn't at all amused.
How old was he?
He was around, siguro mga 7.
7.
At most. So they were like, CJ was like, when they walked out of the theater, my dad asked him, did you enjoy the movie? And then CJ goes, no, bakit walang saksakan? It was, cause
Not the typical
yeah. Because that time, you know what, yung like,
a good movie for the Caparas kids, may saksakan.
Oh my god, wait. I don't know what to like. It would have to be intriguing. It doesn't have to go directly to saksakan. You know, they could just be choking.
Okay.
That's a joke. Wow.
Now, some people would think na Peach Caparas had the easy way in.
Oh yeah,
because of your surname.
Yeah,
you get that vibe, and how do you deal with that?
Actually, I don't mind it at all. You know, people do ask me how I tolerate such things, but they don't know I had it harder than anybody else. Because my father, who's super cool at home, literally the chillest guy. I walk onto set as his assistant director and he starts yelling at me, getting mad at me, treating me like I'm stupid. Yeah, I was like, what? Who are you? I didn't know. But like, you know, people think that this is the easy way out. And honestly, I do consider this a blessing that I was born into a family of showbiz, but I did not squander that blessing. I work hard, very, very hard to still fit in. You know, some people, they'll be born rich, they'll be born heirs to something, but they squander it. You know, but I didn't want to. I felt like this was where I belong, and slowly but surely, I patterned myself as such.
Okay. Speaking of where you belong, how did you feel the inclination that gusto mo din maging film director? At what age?
I didn't know, really. When I was younger, I didn't know. Because at first they put me on as an actress. At that time, kulang lang sa extra, blah, blah. So I became the extra, and then kulang sa talent, and I became the talent. And then suddenly I was like supporting cast, and then my brother and I had our own series. And it was because they were like, oh, they actually have the knack for acting. And at that time, I loved acting, and I thought that was like all I really wanted to do. And then at some point, my dad, sometimes kasi ko nagdi-directing dad ko, I'd make some suggestions and be like, Dad, why don't you, do you think it would be right if ganito, ganyan? Or like the line sometimes, he'd ask me, now, what's a better way to deliver this? And I'd tell him. And he was like...
And he'd respect your opinion even as a kid. Even if you were still a kid.
Yeah, just because like my dad, sometimes he's a little paranoid that he thinks his English is subpar or something. But I grew up kind of English spoken. So he constantly used to ask me if his English was okay. And then it came to na I'd help him with the lines. And like he was really happy about it. And he was like, why not start directing? And I was like, I don't know, that's you. You're the captain. You're supposed to be the one directing. We're just your artistas. And he brought me on as an assistant director. And he was like, why don't you try it out first? Be an assistant director. And while I was assisting, I found that like I was so tired, but I loved what I was doing. Literally loved it.
Didn't feel like work. Oh, okay.
I don't know. I don't think so. It was like you were fulfilled, even if you were so dead tired. You were so fulfilled. Because I thought being an actress was hard. Because, you know, late hours, early mornings, blah, blah, blah. But then it wasn't until I was part of the crew when I found out how much harder it was for the people behind the camera.
Okay. As a kid, you were already inclined to the arts, but your dad discouraged you to take up or to go to film school?
Yeah, well, just film school at the time then, because there were other people who wanted to intern for Caparas at the time. And he found that they were, siguro no, yung mga taga Manila at that time, it was a long time ago, and they felt like they were better because they
went to film school.
Yes, they studied it, you know, they graduated from it, they had a piece of paper to show what they were worth. But the thing is, in the industry, when you're actually there, it isn't always about knowledge, it's more of sino masipag, sino matibay. It's not always just about knowledge. So my dad had discouraged me. Kasi nga, bata pa ako noon. Tapos nagtanong ako sa kanya, before going to college, I was like, Dad, you think I should take up film school? Because I want to study acting too. And he had some actors who went to acting school, even to workshops. And he was like, they're all the same. Don't go there. They're all the same. Like, he wanted me na, gift nga, na pinanganak ako bilang anak nila. So he wanted me to learn all the things I could learn from them on the field. Through experience instead of from teachers.
But this is not putting down film school.
No, not at all. Actually, I had the pleasure of working with a few of them who were in film school from Bigfoot. And they're actually pretty great because I had my already preconceived notion about how people from film school would be like. And when I got to work with them, they were much, much better. They were totally not what I expected.
Okay. Peach, as a kid, you had the hobby of drawing already, and then you told me that your mom would discourage you.
Yeah.
What was her line back then, and what did you reply?
Okay. Well, she was mad because at that time I drew on the bed, and like these were expensive sheets that she'd only put out every kailan, and I drew on them. And it couldn't be removed, and she was so mad at me, and she was so mad at my dad for passing that inclination on. And she was like, huwag ka gagaya dyan sa daddy mo ha. O walang pera mga artist. And I was just like,
gusto mo ba magutom?
Yeah. Gusto mo ba yung patay gutom? And I was like, you can't tell the future. I was a sassy kid.
We have questions here, but going back to the Chong case.
Yeah, go ahead.
How much do you know about the case?
In and out, I read the original stenographies of the case.
You can still sleep at night without nightmares?
Yes, pretty much, because I've kind of seen worse. I've seen Akbar, and it was actually creepier because seeing the actual morgue pics and the crime scene pics they were appalling, but I lived through it. I was going to direct the film. I couldn't direct that being scared.
So in and out. What was or what is the process like in treating the story or the Chong family? Anong plano niyo sa treatment?
Well, the focal point is the pain and misery that the family had gone through at the time. We're not touching much on the case. We want to stay away from that. Or it's at least not the focal point of the film.
You will be focusing on the emotional upheaval and trauma of the mother.
Yes.
Okay. Now, did you get to talk to the suspects? And if not, do you plan to?
No comment.
And did you also get to watch the documentary?
Give Up Tomorrow.
Give Up Tomorrow.
Yes, I have watched it.
Do you have comments?
No comment.
Thoughts? What kind of response do you expect from the Cebuanos?
Well, that's totally up to them because at the time, everybody was against the suspects and they were totally on the side of Mrs. Chong, the Chong family. As I found recently, it's not the case anymore. It's the other way around. You know, the tides have turned and not everyone sees the things through Mrs. Chong's eyes. But to me, it's no matter who did it and what happened to the daughters, you cannot take away the misery of a mother losing two of her daughters. You know, and that's our whole focal point. It's she went through misery, she went through pain, sleepless nights, she went through all that. It doesn't matter who did it or what had really happened because her daughters. Suddenly, I cannot say. Suddenly, I am not allowed to say. But Mary Joy was found raped and murdered, and Lucia had come forward to say things about what happened. So it is only very natural for Mrs. Chong to react the way she did, and I do believe that she's staying strong for her family, and she's taken a better recourse.
Your tentative title is Jacqueline Comes Home. Can you explain why?
No comment. I cannot actually, but you'll have to watch it to understand how Jacqueline did find her way home.
Has anyone from the camp of the other side maybe approached your family and
no comments.
No
comments.
Okay. So, for our viewers, if you have comments or additional questions, just post on our Freeman Facebook page and we'll ask them to teach. Now, if you don't mind, Peach, let's, how is the family now after
the family?
Your family yourself.
Oh, my family. Oh, okay.
If you don't mind, after your mom passed away.
Oh, well, it was pretty hard. You know, my dad waited a whole year before he did anything. He stayed here pretty much 98% of the time. 2% was just to come home and say hi and then go back to come here to Cebu. So, it was kind of like we were brought together by some distance as well, because I've never been closer to my dad since it was the time that I was in Manila the whole time and he was here, but we were never closer, the three of us, me, my brother, and my dad. Kasi nga, it is always the mother that is the glue of the family, of everything. And we have been moving forward, but I don't think that's something we could truly move on from.
The way I saw you interact at Cosabelli, I wouldn't have known that this was the first time that you are this close, that you've never been close before.
Oh, well, super close. My dad and I are super close, but syempre, at an arm's length, because if you're a father and you're close to your daughter, there were always some things that he didn't want me to know. You know, he was shielding me from, he was protecting me from. But then when my mom passed away, it was kind of like I was right there with him. I was going through all the problems with him. I was solving all the problems with him. All three of us were together. We were all at length now. There were no secrets. There were no shielding or protecting. It was just all three of us.
Okay. Your dad has told us how your Cebuana mom tamed him.
Yeah. Oh man, my dad is crazy. Like actually, because naalala niya na lang mom ko now. Kaya medyo like he takes about 2 seconds to react to things because he'd remember what my mom would tell him before he'd react. Because before, when they were beginning, my dad was just...
Parang it took daw a Cebuana to tame him.
Yeah, that's true. Huh? My brother had a Cebuano girlfriend, and it was also... Yeah, I saw the same kind of... they're reforming. I was like, wow, okay, Cebuanos are strong. I was like, that's where I get that.
Okay, we have a follow-up question. Going back to the Chong movie. What will you do if there will be moves to stop your film?
Well, that's I've experienced some of that from our previous films. It does happen, but the people who are backing us now are much stronger in the industry, and I don't believe that it can be stopped.
Because I had watched the Paco Laramiaga docu, and it was supposed the documentary makers wanted to show it in malls,
and they were stopped. Yes. So the thing is, they were taking a political and legal standpoint, which is completely different from what we're doing. Theirs kasi was a cinematic docu, but it was all legalities and everything. Pero sa amin naman po is actually a movie, and in no way does it take a legal standpoint. So they're two very different stories and movies.
Okay. Peach, for the past years now, we the moviegoers have been fed one rom-com after another, one love story after another. Why do you think this kind of film has a place right now?
No, I don't think it has a place right now, but it is our job to continuously give you different genres for you to choose from, because it becomes a sort of monopolized vicious cycle where right now 13 to 25-year-old women are the demographic, are the moviegoers. And why is that? Because it's only rom-coms that are out there that are highly advertised, so they keep breeding all these kinds of people who just want to see rom-coms and comedies and like slapstick. That's all they want to see, because that's all they've ever seen at this point. Sometimes an odd movie will come out and it's a different type of genre. It won't make a lot of money because not a lot of people are open to it. And for me, may this movie make money or not, it is our jobs as filmmakers to keep producing different kinds of film for people to choose from, for people to open up their choices.
By the way, will the dialogue be in Cebuano, Tagalog?
Oh, all three.
All three.
Yeah, because
Cebuano.
at the time it was all three.
Okay.
It's okay to move into anything.
Okay. Going back to your childhood fascination with the genre of your dad, can you enumerate some of your favorite films?
Oh, well, actually there's way too many, and they weren't necessarily movies that I watched. They were documentaries that I used to watch about murders and mysteries and serial killers. They were my favorite, and that did not stay in childhood. It had in fact carried over to my adult life. Just now, I was watching Who Killed Sister Kathy, and it's an ongoing fascination.
Who Killed Sister Kathy?
On Netflix.
Netflix.
It's very good.
Okay. Follow-up question: what do you expect from the Cebuano actors?
From what I've seen, I think they can deliver very well. So I am setting the bar as high as I've seen the actors from Manila. I'm setting the bar, just same bar, no special treatment for anyone, no lower expectation for anyone.
My dream actor ka ba to work with, not to direct?
To direct?
You had told me you liked Andy Eisenman, right?
Oh yeah, no, she's a personal friend. She's a great girl. And then Dima Artes. So.
Any other dream actors to direct?
Well, I've had the privilege of directing a lot of veteran actors who are very good, but just because my dad would direct them, and when my dad would stay at the monitor where he sees the footage, I'd be able to be the one to direct the actors. So I think I've pretty much directed everyone that I've had the privilege and the luxury of directing everyone that I possibly could.
When your dad was nominated for a National Artist Award, is that the correct term?
He won that.
He was pretty controversial, right?
It was very controversial.
How did your family deal with it?
Well,
did you talk back to his
no, actually it was
critics and
it's hilarious because people thought that at the time they were bullying my dad so much, and they thought that he was like all, oh no, I'm so sad. But really, every time we'd be like in front of television, we'd be watching things and some of the outrage and like old people being super appalled about what happened. My mom and my dad, they were just seriously laughing, hysterically laughing in their bed because they were like, who knew some beggar kid from the street would cause this much controversy? They were laughing about it, and that's one thing I learned from my parents is, you know, whatever happens,
take everything in stride.
Yeah, if you can laugh about it, then you're good in life. That really took away nothing from him because he was like, well, I don't really care if they take it away.
Since you mentioned it, your dad has a really inspiring story.
Yes.
He didn't go to high school,
Yeah.
right? He taught himself?
Yeah, he finished only up to like 4th grade. Yeah.
So how did he become the Carlo J. Caparas that he is now?
He never let anyone stop him from writing, not even hunger. So he just kept writing and writing and writing. And I remember a story he told me was they were making fun of his friend, and he drew his friend na medyo comic style, yung pag-drawing as a friend.
Caricature?
Yeah, and I think the dad saw it, the dad of the friend saw it, and he was like, Carlo, why don't you go to this place? Because they're hiring artists, drawers. It doesn't pay much, but you should go, you should check it out. And then there, he became like a full-time drawer.
But before that, he was a security guard,
yes,
right?
Yes. Okay. At the time, he was a security guard. He went from like being a beggar and then a security guard.
Hindi ko alam yun yung beggar part.
Yeah, they were incredibly dirt poor. There were like days on end where they wouldn't eat. So, yeah, he was like, that's why.
Rags to riches talaga.
Yes,
okay,
the
so
very definition.
Paano yun? From security guard, he became a artist?
From being a security guard at a publishing factory, he read like 1,000 books. That was the 1,000 nights of reading that he had mentioned. He took the entire 3 years that he worked as a security guard, and he took the time to read 2 books a night or something like that. And he kept reading and reading, and then drawing. It went from drawing to writing.
From reading, what kind of books were these? Like,
all kinds of books. He even read dictionaries, encyclopedias. He read it all. Even like, I think he's mentioned he's read math books. He's read it all, everything. 1,000 books. I can even name 100 books.
That's fascinating.
Yeah. So it went from being a part-time drawer and then full-time drawer, and then he started wanting to write the comics that he was drawing for. So there, he became like a columnist of like writing different kinds of comics, and they brought him on to be a full-time writer. And it started from that, and like he started writing scripts. I think somebody asked for, he had this column in a newspaper, and it was an ongoing comic strip na every day ata may lalabas na 3 panel. And somebody was like, stop writing that, stop drawing, remake it into a script, and then take it to something like that. Then he became a screenwriter, and then a screenplay writer, and then somebody brought him on to be an assistant director. And then I think it was just one time till he fully directed a film, because they were like, you're better, so do it.
But when you were born, he was already
Yes, he was already Carlo J. Caparas. For a very long time, he was Carlo.
That's amazing. I'm knowing his humble beginnings.
Yeah, that's because like he's the kind of person who doesn't talk about it.
Yeah, knowing his humble beginnings, how does that help you into the person that you are now? Because you were born into privilege na, di ba? Hindi mo na inabutan yung dirt poor beginnings nila.
No, I really wasn't.
Is that a constant reminder to you na to again not squander?
Yes, like I was saying previously, is that I didn't want to squander the blessing that I was given, because if you know my parents growing up, they were very, very humble, and they were modest. They were just extravagant when it came to like spoiling me and CJ with things, but when it came to our attitude, they were, at least my dad tried to always make me keep my feet on the ground, you know. At least he let me be a dreamer, but he reminded me to keep my feet on the ground.
Okay. What qualities did you get sa dad mo at sa mom mo?
Well, my mom was already...
Ano yung Cebuana side mo?
My mom was hands down a good person. My dad wasn't always the best person, but He used all the negative things that happened to him in life and he made the best out of it. So now he's just, all the willpower that he got from being very poor, you know, he couldn't eat and he'd have to will himself to be full just so he wouldn't eat. He turned that willpower into work ethic, and I'd have to say my work ethic comes from my father, but my determination for everything, definitely my mom. My mom was the workaholic in the family. There wasn't a time I didn't see her on her phone.
And she had the business acumen, the
yes,
family, right?
Definitely her. I think that was passed on to CJ better than it was to me, because CJ is the more numbers, you know, he's more analytic, but I got my dad's artistic side.
Okay, question. As a millennial,
oh my gosh, actually I had just found out I'm not a millennial, I'm a plural.
Okay, scratch that. Okay,
as a plural.
Scratch that. As a 25-year-old, okay, how do you think social media can help promote films, particularly projects from communities outside Manila?
I think that's there is no better platform than social media for anything and everything. If you want people to hate something, you put it on social media. If you want people to love something, you put it on social media. If you want them to know something, you put it on social media. There is no better platform than social media right now.
Okay. Where do you think the film industry in the Philippines is going at a time of Netflix?
I can't. There was something. My father, he was invited to. I'm not gonna go into it, but Netflix. I was telling him about it and how it's coming to the Philippines. They're actually asking different directors to direct series originals, and Mr. Brillante Mendoza is in fact the first Filipino who's going to have a Netflix original series. And I think whatever platform helps us progress the best is we should go into it. Of course, definitely explore it, but the Philippine cinema for a very long time has been dying. Because as soon as we could stream something, we'd be lazy enough to just watch it at home. Pirated DVDs, they come out, we just watch it at home. But there are brilliant minds who took that opportunity and said, you know what, why not earn money from it? So they made Netflix, they made iFlix, they made Hook. A lot of different things. But that is, to me, progress. And I think we should be open to it. But at the same time, let's not forget the heart and soul of Philippine cinema, and that's the actual cinema.
Was your dad one of those offered to do something for Netflix? And
No
did
comment,
he refuse it?
No comment. Again.
What if ikaw yun ang inoffend?
Man, see, that's very tricky. I don't wanna. It depends. It depends on the project. If they hand me something that I think is great, and of course I'll talk it out with my father. If my dad generally doesn't allow me or disallow me. You know, he doesn't think he has that power over me. My dad will generally just tell me his opinion, and then he'll leave it up to me to decide. So I'll have to talk it out with my family first before I make it.
Your dad, though, Direk Carlo, is still very traditional. Like, he still writes his scripts on a piece of paper.
Yeah. Handwritten on notebooks.
What do you put in the table? Like, as a young 25-year-old, what do you contribute to a traditional person as like your dad?
See, the thing is, my dad, I had inhibited all his traditional ways. You know, I'm rooted in that, in the way my father runs things. But I do want to try and introduce new things to innovate, you know, old school kind of traditions. But to me, I do believe the old school tradition is definitely the root of everything. So I don't want to stray from it, I just want to innovate.
Can we also talk about your brother CJ, who
Yeah,
has a role in the film as a creative consultant?
Yes.
Does he also have an acting role in
Yes.
Jacqueline Comes Home?
Yes.
What will he be
He's
playing?
the lead perpetrator.
Oh.
That
pero wala akong pangalan, hindi niyo lalagyan ng pangalan. Okay. So CJ is also is he also a Best Actor nominee already or awardee? Hindi pa. Pero he was
he was just stop. Wow, how do I answer this question? It is he wasn't given the opportunity yet. I mean, he's acted in so many things, and
he was the lead actor in Kamandag sa Droga.
Kamandag ng Droga, Miracles Are Forever, and he was one of the leads in Angelo Mercado. And this is not just me as his sister talking. but I do believe he has true talent and potential. He does hold his own in scenes. It's just every time he does really well, somebody beats him to the I think 2016 Famas for the 2015 Angelo Mercado movie, he was up against Epi Quizon, Ronnie Lazaro, very, very talented veterans. You know, and it's not in him either to vie for nominations.
But he's in good company, huh? No, Epi Quizon, etc.
Yeah, that's why. But he wasn't nominated for Best Supporting at the time, just because na-nominate yung co-star niya for Angelo Mercado. So it's not like they could put two people there.
Is he open to going into mainstream TV?
Yeah, he was in mainstream TV before. It's just he stopped for a while because he had a family and he wanted to focus on the family life first. So medyo nag-hold back siya doon. Pero definitely, CJ was built for the mainstream.
Peach, what was the last movie you saw na nagustuhan mo talaga?
Like, wow, it's this movie I can't even stop talking about. It's A Time to Kill. It's also on Netflix. Right? My God. My God. He couldn't even keep himself from talking. A Time to Kill, Netflix. Samuel Jackson. It's actually super star-studded. Samuel Jackson, Matthew McConaughey, Sandra Bullock, Ashley Judd, a lot of them. Kiefer Sutherland was there.
Is this new?
Yeah, it was based on.
Okay. Even the title ng gusto mong film, Sam May Kill.
Right. That was also a rape and murder. Yeah. It was actually also a rape. But it was really good. Oh my God. I can't stop talking about it. That's not even the last movie I saw. I saw it 3 months ago.
Favorite series?
I have a lot. Oh man. Which is ironic because iZombie, I'm watching that now, but it's also about murders. But she eats the brain and then she gets visions of how they were killed and she helps solve crimes.
Gore talagang gusto ng mga Caparas.
Okay, easy. Friends.
Friends.
Favorite of all time. Family Guy.
Parang hindi
favorite
Friends.
I swear, that's me. Swear, that's something that brings me back to reality.
Okay, you guys have more questions?
Santa Clara Diet, do you like it?
Yes, Santa Clarita Diet.
Drew Barrymore.
Yes.
She was here.
I know. I'm so sad. I love that. It's in one of my continues to watch.
Okay. Do you have any message, or would you like to call on our Cebuanos na supportaan?
Yeah, please.
Upcoming Chong film.
Yeah, I can't speak Cebuano clearly, but I really hope na manood kayo. We just pre-prod faces, we're already putting our hearts and souls into this project because we do believe that this project, especially how intimate the misery and the pain that the family had felt and what they went through, we're really taking such good care of this project and the family, all the actors, all the cast and crew. And we really hope na take a break from the comedy, from the romance. Come and watch something that'll open your mind, will make you think, and might not make you sleep at night.
Okay. Is there anyone you'd like to thank or say hi to before we say goodbye?
Yeah, my dad might be watching. I don't know. Dad, I hope I did you justice.
Hi, Director.
CJ, I hope too. And Xavier and Bao and Angela. Oh man, that's it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Peach.
Thank you.
Alright, our guest for today, Peach Caparas, actress and director of the upcoming film on the Cebu rape murder case of the Chong sisters. This is Vanessa Balbuena, the Freeman's entertainment editor. Thank you so much for joining us, and see you next time here on the Freeman Conversations. Thank you.
Bye guys. Thank you. Thank you.